Thanks for joining us. The Robbinsdale School Board continues to wrestle with some difficult budget decisions. The school district needs to cut about $21 million before the next school year.
The challenge is to cut as much as we can without decimating the district to allow us a chance to rebuild the district.
An accounting error discovered last fall contributed to the substantial budget cuts the Robbinsdale district must now make. District administrators may recommend cutting the district's International Baccalaureate program. Some school board members pushed back on that proposal, saying IB programs draw students and families into the district.
I don't see the value of taking away IB when there is a possibility of expanding it.
The board expects to revisit the future of the district's IB programs at a future meeting. The Robbinsdale Area School Board has a new member. Kenneth Wuto was appointed to the school board this past week. He replaces Sharon Brooks, who resigned amid controversy following disputes with other board members. Wuto previously ran for school board, losing by just 15 votes. New federal tariffs on goods from China, Mexico, and Canada could mean local manufacturing companies have to raise their prices.
But I think most expect there's going to be an impact, right? It's going to have a short-term effect at the very least that'll cause prices to increase, that'll cause some hesitation in purchasing.
The Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association is based in Brooklyn Park. CEO Steve Kalina says that international and domestic steel prices are expected to rise. That means some manufacturers will have to raise prices for consumers. He also told CCX that the rapid changes in Washington have led to a lot of uncertainty.
There's this constant unknown right now of just what decisions do you make? Do you keep spinning up a facility? Do you keep purchasing? Do you shift gears? Do you wait for the dust to settle? So just a lot of unknown for a little while here.
New tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods are expected to go into effect in March. Tariffs on Chinese goods went into effect in early February. It's a busy time for Maple Grove's largest employer, Boston Scientific. The medtech company is currently constructing a new campus north of Interstate 694. Now it has plans to expand its existing campus. The Maple Grove City Council approved an 84,000 square foot expansion to Boston Scientific's Weaver Lake Road campus. Under the plans, Boston Scientific would add to the Weaver Lake 4 building that opened in 2022. An expansion would nearly double that building's size using existing parking lot space. It would allow for increased manufacturing of its Watchman device used for stroke prevention. Meanwhile, Boston Scientific also says about 1,400 employees will relocate from the Weaver Lake Road campus to the new I-694 campus starting in September. In the hustle and bustle of life, it can make a big difference to just stop and breathe. In School Spotlight, we see how Oakview Elementary students get the tools to do just that. Nearly every day in Shirley Marriott's classroom, her second grade students stand up,
Breathe slowly,
and stretch.
It helps us recenter, refocus so that we can show up our best selves in our space together.
It's one way to incorporate Move Mindfully into their day. Mrs. Marriott started the year with these exercises to help the children manage big emotions.
Now I have students volunteering to leave, and their peers are so into it. It's such a buy-in. They really enjoy it.
Mrs. Marriott's class knows many of the exercises by heart.
Give yourself a hug.
Her student Lucy says practicing mindfulness makes her and her classmates feel calm, something they all need sometimes.
I feel like some of them, they are really over the top and really hyper. And I feel like it makes them calm down, so.
What Lucy notices is the intended effect. And it doesn't just happen in Mrs. Marriott's classroom.
Welcome, second graders. It's so nice to see you. Come on in.
Each student at Oakview gets a chance to move mindfully every month in an assembly with their principal.
When we check in with our bodies, there's some things we can do to help us focus.
Move Mindfully isn't just a practice. It's a grant-funded program at a number of Osseo schools, including Oakview. Oakview ESP Stephanie Halverson says it's been there since the beginning of the school year.
So we've had many, many wins within our students in our behavior intervention rooms, our den, in our classrooms for our children that just need a little bit more to help themselves be able to stay and regulate.
Pause.
Halverson says it helps the grown-ups recenter too.
And then they take that back to their classrooms And then it goes into their toolbox that they can take home and share with their parents.
Breathe and rest.
She said each assembly gives these kids the tools to understand themselves so they can check into learning.
Everybody up.
And also,
All right, give me your best. Throw them.
check into playtime. Halverson is working to secure a Move Mindfully grant for the coming years. Finally, this segment, some of the best high school art around, and you can find it in Brooklyn Park.
I think they can expect to be wowed. That's one of the things when I walk into this space and I see all this work, and I am just not only impressed, but think about the incredible skill that these students have at the high school level.
The Northwestern High School Art Show is on display at North Hennepin Community College. 12 schools, including 6 in our viewing area, are represented in the show. You'll find more than 100 art pieces, including paintings, drawings, photography, jewelry, and ceramic sculptures. Art educators say you'll be impressed by the level of detail.
I think this opportunity for these high school students to come in and be in a big group show in a college gallery can be just not only inspirational, but motivating and reaffirming.
The exhibit runs through February 27th with an awards ceremony that evening.
He's put up some dazzling numbers and helped lead his team to a resurgence this winter. This week's CCX Sports Spotlight features Champlin Park boys basketball standout Tyler Wagner. Here's Jay Wilcox with his story.
Wagner, a deep three here, and he hits. They knew they were getting a good player, but Champlin Park senior Tyler Wagner, who transferred from Totino Grace this year, has been spectacular. A 60-point school record performance against Blaine tops the list.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy. But as I was at halftime, I think I had like 28. And then as I got going in the second half, people kept like telling me I was close to McKinley's record, which is 46. So I mean, I kind of had like an idea of where I was at, but I don't know, I was just feeling it that night.
I was here when McKinley Wright set the school record for 46 points in a game against De La Salle. It was my freshman year at college, and he could not miss. Every time, coming down the court, ball was in his hands, he was shooting the ball and he was not missing. When, I looked up in the scoreboard and oh my gosh, he just broke Kin's record in the second half, and we still got 8 minutes left in the game. But yeah, I never thought, anyone that I would ever see was going to score 60 in a game.
Wagner grew up in the Champlin Park youth program before attending Totino Grace the first 3 years of high school, and was on 3 Eagles Class 3A state championship teams. He's been welcomed back with the Champlin Park group.
When I found out Tyler was coming, I thought it was cool because he was a Champlin student like way back then, and I've known him for a long time. I played baseball with him when I was in second grade, so just knowing him that he was coming back, I thought it was gonna be really fun to play with him again.
First instinct was awesome, great player, great family. Was really excited, kind of, everything going through my mind of how is he going to fit in with the guys, how is he going to fit, within the scheme. Just a lot of excitement to have him here.
I mean, yeah, there's like nerves every big move you make in your life, but yeah, it's really just like coming home to like my home school where I grew up, and everybody's been like really welcoming and stuff. So it wasn't like that big of a move because I still like hung out with these guys like even while I was at Totino Grace.
While the 60-point night was the headliner, Wagner's also had 40-point games against Anoka and Maple Grove and is averaging over 28 points per outing, most in a Rebels program that's had some great players. Tyler's always been a shooter, but has expanded his game too.
Attacking the rim and then getting to the foul line, and then like attacking the rim opened up a lot of other parts of my game too. I put a big emphasis on that, just working on that, getting my handle better too, and just making myself a more complete player.
And making free throws is a big part of his game also.
he's shooting, I think, 82%, somewhere around there from the free throw line. Like I mentioned during that Blaine game, he was 24 for 26 from the free throw line, which is, I think, top 5-ish in both free throw attempts and free throws made for a single game in state history. So.
Certainly not lost in Wagner's scoring exploits, Champlin Park's return to prominence as a team. A strong program for a long time, the Rebels had dropped off the past several years, but entered Friday with a 19-4 record, and they should be the top seed for the Section 5 4A tournament. Tyler remembers some past state tournaments and would love to help the Rebels get back.
Yeah, so I went to all those games. I mean, like, my mom and dad would allow me to skip school and they'd take me down to Target Center. I mean, it was great to see.
As good of a shooter as he is, Tyler wouldn't be a sure bet to win a game of horse against his mom, former Park Center and University of North Dakota standout Jen Wagner, formerly Jen Hoffner.
I think the last time we had a shootout, she won. It was in 8th grade, but we haven't had a shootout in a while, so I don't know. But I think I got her now, though.
For the CCX Sports Spotlight, I'm Jay Wilcox.